Welcome back to another episode of the Working Joe's podcast with me, Zack, and my co-host, Ralph Wolf. And don't forget to download the podcast on Android using Stitcher or Podcast Addict, or if you have an Apple phone, use iTunes. Welcome back to the Working Joe's podcast. I'm Zack alongside Ralph. Not alongside, technically. He's in his truck, traversing the Georgia mountain skyline. And Ralph, how are you tonight?
About 40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour. That sounds really good.
I'm doing pretty good, actually.
What are you up to?
Well, I am going to go see a friend of mine.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go see a friend. That's all I can say about that.
What a good guy. All right.
Well, Zach, I listened to we did our Trey Miller part 1. We're getting ready to do our Trey Miller part 2. But I want to touch base on something that really has been bothering me for actually, I don't know, for a couple months, several months actually. Guys think that, with me in particular, I don't know about the other guys that do it, but with me in particular, when I say something bad about a brand, all right, just know that I'm not trying to bash that brand. That I really think that with the platform that I have and you have and other guys have, we're in that position to, when we complain about something, I'm not trying to complain about it. I'm trying to get the manufacturers to improve on their product, because I do have a bigger platform, and guys listen, and I think that some of the products that are coming out on the market now could be improved. It's just like we talk about air conditioning now. Everything is disposable now. Nothing is built to last like it used to.
This is true. This is really important because we were talking about products and where they were made. In this podcast we're talking about, and in the podcast that we've already recorded that are going to air in the future, we've talked about what country they're made and how well they're made. So talking about companies and how they perform and how they're building their stuff, even if we have to name them by name, I think is an important thing. Like you're saying, we have to talk about it, or else we're ignoring this huge potential issue in the market.
Exactly. And so if we mention Honeywell, let me say this. I know Tesla's been a big target here lately with a lot of guys.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of Honeywell zoning. I'm just not. I never have been really. I put in 1 or 2. I even had a Honeywell zone panel at my own house. Now, I had EWC dampers, and the only reason I had the Honeywell panel is because I got it for free. Or otherwise, I would have bought the EWC. Who's going to blame me for that?
Sure.
I got it for free. It worked just fine. But that was because it was at my house. And if I put something in, I'm going to put something in that I really, truly believe I'm not going to have a callback on it. That's why I have a problem with guys talking about different brands. I install ICP, as everybody knows. Now, when I have a customer ask me, what brand do you sell? And I say, well, I sell ICP. And they say, well, I've never heard of that. What kind of bothers me a little bit is they forget I'm the guy in business, right? I'm the guy that installs this stuff. And if it breaks, I have to go back and work on it. And I don't want to go back and work on a product that I've installed.
Sure.
There's no future in business for doing that. So why would I want to put in a product that's bad? Why would I want to put in an inferior product if I know that product is going to break on me in 2 years? Why would I want that product to give me a bad name?
That's true.
Right?
You really wouldn't want that to happen, but you're talking about manufacturers now, and manufacturers that, let's take, for example, manufacturing that's moved to China to produce lower end products in mass quantities. Now, if you have a whole bunch of those that are getting sold I mean, the market's so big, you're selling so many of them, you're willing to, it seems like they're almost willing to accept more failures because they're just selling so many of them. They're willing to accept the fact that the
Yeah,
product's inferior compared to what it used to be.
right. They're flooding the market, and they're doing it on the backs of us, the techs. You know,
Yeah.
it's a gamble. It's a gamble for us to buy the tools. I want something that if it falls off a unit, I'm not worried about it breaking. I've invested that money in that tool because it's supposed to be a quality tool. If I'm washing the condenser and I get I'm going to use Testo the Smart Probe. I don't know if I'll ever get off that kick. Hey, I could say the man tooth, and the only reason I don't say the man tooth is because there's guys that bought them, you know, but I don't think there was that many sold. You know what I mean?
Right.
In comparison to the Testo, for sure, the Testo. So I'm gonna, unfortunately, Testo sold so many of them because they're, you know, quote unquote, a great product. And I know the guys that have them say they like them, except the ones that have washed condensers. And I know one guy that did, and he said it doesn't take the water.
Oh, sure.
You know, if I forget to take that you know, that sensor off that unit and I wash it, I'm going to be mad. You know, I'm going to be mad at myself, but then I'm going to be mad at the manufacturer for not giving me a quality tool that will take the water.
But is it the tool manufacturing a response to the fact that a lot of us are cheap and aren't going for quality tools? A lot of guys say that.
Right. And they do flood the market hoping that they sell enough of them. And look, I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody that's bought these things. I'm really not, because I get it. We all have wives and we all have kids, and you know, I'm fortunate enough that, you know, my kids are gone now, and you know, I work for myself and I have some disposable income that most guys don't have, so I can, you know, buy some tools and it's not going to hurt me. But I know there's guys out there that they work hard. But you know, I take my truck to the GM place to get the oil change, and the mechanics there have a $60,000 toolbox. You know, more than somebody's mortgage, or you know, they pay monthly for these tools. And why doesn't the air conditioning industry have something like that?
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Why do we settle for stuff that's inferior? I guess because we're not wanting to spend the money, and the marketing responds to that and gives us inferior products. Then it sort of continues on until someone, you know, says, "I'm not buying this any longer. I'm going to buy whatever." You know, instead of buying a Testo Smart Probe, I'm going to buy the Testo 570 made in Germany. I'm going to do that instead because I know that's a better product.
Right. I don't know. That's so you guys that think that because it did bother me, those comments about bashing Honeywell. I wasn't really trying to bash Honeywell. I was just, you know, if they have an inferior product, then why do you get mad at me for saying, "Hey, dude, your product's inferior. Improve your product. Quit trying to push it down our throats, and because your name is attached to it."
Yeah.
The guys that are buying it think, "Oh, this is quality stuff. It's got the Honeywell name attached to it."
Right. And, you know, a lot of people, I don't know what it is about it, whether it's our society or what, but they don't want to hear a judgment either way on a product. They want to say, here it is, here's what it does, we're not going to say anything about it. But I think our job is to sort of interpret whether it's good or bad and tell people. I think that's why we're here.
I would hope, but, you know, somebody would say, "Well, who elected you the reviewer of the tool?" And well, somebody's got to do the job.
That's right. I mean, it really is true. Someone's got to come in and say these things. And like you said, we're not trying to say anything that's not true. And you've been on YouTube for a long time. I've been on YouTube for a long time. And I asked the guys, say, "Hey, guys, we're on here. We're making these videos, but we're the same as you. There's no difference except we film our stuff. Why do you listen to what we're saying anyway?" That's what I asked the guy one time. And he says, "We trust you." That's what he said.
Well, yeah. And you know, I told a guy one time that saw me at somewhere. You know, I'd rather not say where he saw me, but he saw me, and he made a big deal of of meeting me, and I told him time and time again, I am just a guy like you. I put my pants on one leg at a time like you. I'm no different than Jim Bergman. Jim's an intelligent guy, but we're just people. Jim's good at one thing, you're good at one thing, I'm good at one thing, and together, I use Jim because everybody knows who Jim is.
Sure.
It could be Steve Lapp.
Right.
Steve's a man of many talents. I mean, just go watch his chicken videos and look at the compound that he's made there. I talked to Steve this morning. That guy, he's just, he's like, man, those chickens, they just keep them busy. But the point I'm trying to make is we're just guys. Steve is just a guy, and guys trust Steve. They, if he does a review, guys are going and buying this stuff. If I do a review on something and I say it good, guys are going to go buy it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Because they do trust us. So, like I said, I'm not trying to bash brand. I'm really not. I just want them to improve. Because I do think Testo is a great brand. I think Honeywell is a great brand. But I think that every manufacturer does something well. And then they try to get in the market in other things, and they don't do so well at that other thing.
Well, how about we talk to somebody that does zoning very well?
I think that's a great idea. So, without further ado, once again, I want to remind you guys that if you want to rebut what I have to say, go over to the YouTube channel and leave a comment, and let us know. I agree with you, or I disagree with you, or whatever it is that you want to say, good or bad, the opportunity is there. Without further ado, let's put on Trey.
Have our own manufacturing facility. I mean, we have our own lab. We do all of our own testing. This is exactly why ACA chose us. We have plexiglass plenums. We have multiple pieces of equipment. I mean, we have damper motors up on the wall that all they have done for the last 14 years since we've been using these motors. Shut every day. That's all they do all day long.
All day long. Open and close.
And we're doing it right. We're doing it for time-lapse testing. And I mean, it's pretty impressive, really. I mean, and we've been around a long time. I mean, the facility's been around since I think 1961.
Right.
So we're not any, new guys.
Y'all are probably the most used zoning because of all the manufacturers, but the least well known, or the least known.
Yeah, because we don't do everything. We don't make air. We don't make air cleaners. We don't make media filters. We don't. We're not a conglomerate and making a pile of different stuff. I mean, you've got other guys out there you've got some other zoning manufacturers that are a lot smaller than us, but we're pretty big. And I mean, if you're looking at damper products and stuff like that, we're probably we're up there, especially with all the OEM stuff we do.
Right.
Well, here's a good question for the guys out there wondering what else EWC does. You guys make retrofit zoning too. That's correct.
Well, our dampers are residential and commercial. Also retrofit. Our boards will work new construction or retrofit. We pretty much cover the whole grommet. Now, have you ever had a chance to use the UZC4 board?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like that in our industry?
No, because at the time, the UZC4 board was the only board that would do four heat and 2 cool. But now the BM Plus 3000 has actually kind of went into that.
I'll go two-stage cool now, and you can use a 2-stage compressor. But that UZC4 board it's got reheat, fresh air, enthalpy control. You can put enthalpy control on it. I mean, you've got reverse acting, direct acting relays. It does everything from the commercial form, and I've got a lot of guys that use that in commercial and go up against these VAVs, especially in the South. We don't need heaters in every daggone thing. And why are you going to need to heat and cool at the same time? Not always necessary. Right. And if it's not, that's a heck of a daggone option there.
Yeah, but and it's fairly inexpensive, the UZC board, because I've used.
What's $100 more than the
right?
Yeah, it's $100 more than BM Plus.
Yeah, I've had to use it back before the BM Plus or the BM Plus 3000 went to like dual fuel with 2 stages of heat, 4 stages of heat.
Right.
But now that it does it, of course, I don't need the UZC 4 board anymore.
No. But if one UZC 4 board expands to 22 zones.
Right.
So, I mean, if you've got a multi-zone job where the BM Plus will only go to 7,
right,
which is going to do the majority of your systems anyway. But then again, the UZC has some other advantages, like controlling staging with thermostats.
Right.
Actually put in your 2-stage heat, 2-stage cool thermostats in your larger zones, and then put in single-stage heat, single-stage cool thermostats in your smaller zones, rather than doing it with time and staging and things like that. So there are advantages, especially in the commercial forum, that the UZC does offer.
Right, right. And the best part about when you have a problem with any of this and you have a question, when you call, I know Zack made the comment one time because he used the free stat. When you call EWC, the guy is going to pick up the phone and it's going to be pretty fast, and he's going to be able to answer your question.
Oh yeah, I talked to a human.
Yeah, and you're not going to be talking to the call center somewhere. And
you're not talking to hubby.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, man, let me tell you, that's made my job. That's like I say, I'm a lifer. Those guys at the factory, I mean, I take a lot of calls myself.
Right.
And some of these guys are special.
Well,
these guys
I like that.
Help these guys every day. I mean, I don't know that I could do as well as they do, because I mean, these guys and they keep a good attitude all the time.
Right.
And I have compliments on them all the time, and it's good to have a good support team. If you got a good support team, it makes your job a lot easier.
Now, how many?
I can tell you, when I was selling another brand, I had some people get a little nasty with some people on the phone and say, "Well, aren't you smart enough to do this?" And that doesn't work too good.
Right. Now, how many guys are actually up there answering the phones?
4.
4 guys.
Well, we have 4 techs.
Right.
And then we've got other guys like the owner of the company can answer tech questions.
Right.
I mean,
now, I think I talked to him several years ago.
Mike Riley?
Yeah, because he put my video. I think he's the one that actually put my videos on the website, on the training.
Oh, probably.
And I was like, dude, that was an honor.
Oh, Mike is a young guy, smart. He and that's another thing. It's nice to work, when you're working with people like that. I mean, he's innovative. He likes new ideas. He's not scared to do stuff. He goes out with the products. I mean, he allows the engineers to work on products that, are innovative and different and make the job easier, make our job easier. So like I say, I'm a clone. I'm very, very, very happy. I'm very happy with my job. I love the guys that I work with.
What states again do you do training in?
I'm the Southeast Regional Manager. Like I work with all the manufacturers reps that work for me also. Right. So like Leone Green works for me. I have manufacturers reps in all the different states, because I can't cover 9 states and do it justice.
Right, right. And I know my rep, which is Matt Butterworth, he does a really, really good job.
You think? I mean, those 2 guys, Matt and Mark Holland, those guys are the best I got. I mean, those guys are phenomenal.
I never deal with Mark, but I deal with Matt all the time. When you were Ed's last time, we were talking about the little Malco chucks that were on back order, and I kept giving Matt hell about this thing. They finally showed up, and I sent him a picture, and I said, "Look what I finally got." And he said, "Well, you're lucky. They're on back order again until October."
Oh gosh, there's a little reversible chucks.
Yes.
The thing about those guys is they dot their I's and they cross their T's.
They're really good.
And guys. I mean, it's not like it's not like you want to, but they don't not follow up on stuff.
They don't. Yeah.
Answer the phone. They when they tell you they're going to do something, they do it. It's just very, very refreshing. Very refreshing.
Yeah, and it's cool that I can just call Matt instead of trying to go through a third party like the supply house, and I can get an answer directly from Matt. Now I know he doesn't want all contractors calling him, which he would just be answering the phone all the time and couldn't get his job done.
He does. I mean, I ride with these guys.
I know
for weeks, and it's like they are on the phone. They got emails. These guys are a trip, man. I mean, I get a lot of stuff, but not like they do. Wow. And I mean, the fact they keep it all organized, And like I say, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, man, that's hard to find these days.
Right. So when do you think you're going to be around Wilmington again?
Oh, you're helping me out. Good, bro. That's where I'm at.
Man, you just give me a call. I'll be there, man.
Because Zack is out of he's around the Wilmington area.
I was thinking about who sells the EWC stuff in Wilmington, and the only ones I can think of is East Coast, because it's Goodman and Amana, and then WJR, which is Ream, which are the two companies that use that on their communicating stuff, I guess.
So you're talking about Wilmington,
North Carolina.
South Carolina, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. I go there all the time. You've got, do you have a Longley supply there?
Yeah, there's a Longley. Yep.
Longley sells it. Longley stocks it. They have it. You put me on the spot. I wish I'd known the question. I got to shoot. I go look it up and find out.
Oh, no, I've seen it a couple places. I know East Coast has it because I've ordered it there, and I know WJR has it because they have it on the shelf.
Right. Well, Longley's a good customer for us too, and they do a good job. Wilmington's a growing area.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, the guy who works for me in that area is Tom Kachi, and Tom loves Wilmington. I mean, he likes to go to Wilmington a lot. So, we'll get in touch with him, and then we'll set up, and we'll just come by and we can do your own company. I mean, how many guys you got?
I got one. You're looking at him.
Okay. Well, then you and I are going to have some lunch, and we'll just talk about anything you need to talk about.
Well, that sounds good too. That sounds like fun.
Oh man, I love it's fun, and this stuff. If you're a contractor and you want to change your business, just think about what you can do with this product. I mean, entertaining. And at the minimum, every night you go to bed, keep your bedroom whatever temperature you want. Keep it 68 if you want to. Cut the rest of the house off or back. Now, one thing I will say, make sure you keep your door shut. But, I mean, you can go in and saw little kids, problem areas, room above the garages, all these things we can solve with zoning, which you can't with anything else except individual systems in every room, like mini splits, which is way too expensive. I can tell you I should be a millionaire right now. I'm a little disappointed. I kind of blame the contractors for putting up stuff.
It's all our fault.
I mean, to me, it's ABC. It's so easy. And everybody, let me ask you a question. Everyone, and you put in hundreds of these things. Have you ever had a customer unhappy with a zoning system?
No. But
no.
Well, the only complaint.
Well, that didn't work. That worked right.
Right. No.
You can have problems with systems.
Maybe a little noise because that zone was a little small or whatever. And now, I could do it.
Hey.
Before I really could.
All the guys out there, I'm not a big fan of this, but if you need to reduce noise, all you have to do is bleed. Remember, restrict your bypass. Bypass less air, that reduces your noise, or bleed, which means you're bypassing less. You're getting rid of a little bit of the pre-cooling of the coil and stuff like that. But then again, a lot of times when you run into problems with that are on single stage pieces of equipment, and all you have to do is balance the air out. And that means maybe bleeding a couple zones or something like that.
So let's say I'm on a house and the bypass is way too big. It's not way too big, but it's just oversized.
You mean the unit's oversized, or the equipment is too small for the house?
No, the bypass itself.
The duct?
The duct. The bypass duct is too big.
Too big? Okay.
Yeah, too big. Now, would you suggest a guy go in and put hand dampers before and after and adjust them halfway?
Well, if you're looking at doing that, you might as well just replace the bypass line.
Right.
I mean, it's not that long. I mean, granted, you may have an elbow. I don't know if you've got it all hard pipe or whatever the case may be. But, there shouldn't be any reason to be too big. Now, the too big is like a 5-ton unit with a 16-inch bypass on, or a 4-ton unit with 16-inch. 16-inch bypasses are kind of big. You shouldn't have to go any bigger than a 14-inch unless you're bypassing into a non-critical area. Then you may want to go to a 16. But then we don't have the reverse return pull on our bypass. You follow me?
Right.
So that may be something where you want to increase a little bit. But, having too big a bypass, yes, with the SBD, if your bypass was too big, I think you could put a hand damper in there, would help your scenario. But let me tell you, if your bypass is too big, the SBD won't set up.
No, it won't.
It'll just keep blinking.
It will not set up if the bypass is too big.
Yes, sir. It'll just keep blinking.
Wow.
And you will not set up. Then you know to go too small. Read the instructions. It'll tell. Well, I don't know you have. I know you always do.
Well,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying, if you read them, it'll tell you.
You did see that I threw that back in the corner, right?
Oh gosh!
What the hell is that? And I threw it.
Don't do it, man! Don't do it, dude!
I saw it. I saw it. Parts you need. I saw the back.
Yeah. Hey, and that that was great. The parts you need.
Oh, buddy!
Open that little.
I love that you even opened up the little thing, showed the little tie straps and everything, man. I mean, man,
that was perfect.
Hey, Ralph.
Do. What?
Do you know there's an apprentice out there somewhere who's held up that bag? Go, do we need these parts?
Yeah, exactly. But it says in a big orange sticker, "Parts you need." But I didn't need the second roll of 1/4-inch tube, but I have it on my truck if I do.
For your static?
Yeah, I got you, because you may have a little longer tube run than what they give you with the two of them. But yeah, that's good. But have you had to do that for very many jobs?
No. I mean, normally I try to keep it as short as possible. The bypass as close to the system as possible. So I'm normally just using just the one roll.
Right.
But I'm glad they send two just in case, because you never know. I'm lazy, man. I'm going to do as least amount of work as I possibly can.
He's in the basement
already.
I mean,
if you've got your unit up in the attic and everything else, and you got your bypass in the attic, you may want to run your Well, I mean, I used to get guys with the EBDs.
Right.
They would take the diaphragm off the side of the unit, run it down into the mechanical room, and then be able to adjust it in the mechanical room.
Right.
Can't really do that with the SBD.
No. I love that.
I don't know that you want to. No, you want it exactly where it is, because everything's short, sweet, compacts, and it works.
I love that thing. Nothing to set up.
Yeah. And that's why we figured at least guys can push a button.
Hey, all you have to do is have a pin. As long as you have a pin or that pocket screwdriver. If you're doing the whole system, what does that zone panel come with? It comes with a screwdriver. Every zone panel comes with a screwdriver.
Yes, it does. I was like, and they fit our terminals too.
Yes.
But that's the problem, because some of those little screwdrivers are too wide.
Right.
And then it's like you're pushing in, and it's like you're tilting the screwdriver and all that stuff.
Well, I think that's why a lot of guys like Honeywell, because they went to the little push terminals.
Well, you know what? I have asked every class that ever brings that up. And I asked the class, I goes, guys, because let me tell you, we had push terminals before Honeywell did.
Right.
To them. My boss, Mike, has said we could put push terminals on the push terminals on the boards tomorrow. But nobody wants them. I'll ask a class, I'll say, okay, and this is a class of predominantly Honeywell guys. Who in here would rather have the tried and true screw down, know you got some torque on the daggone wire, pull on it doesn't come out? Guys are scared to pull on it in those little compression things, because if they pull on it, if it pulls out, you could have ruined the board.
Right. I don't want the push in. I'd rather use the screw terminal.
Yeah, me too. Plus, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but like I say, if guys want push terminals, we can put them on there. But like I say, I've done classes, and I ask the class, I say, raise your hands. Maybe 1 or 2 people out of 30 will say push terminals are as good.
Right. Now, if you didn't supply the screwdriver, I'd probably want to push terminal, because that means I have to do that.
Oh gosh. Ralph's very lazy.
Look, you're tough. You're a tough customer.
Hey man. Hey, stop with it. Hey, if he stops with the screwdriver, then I want the push.
Then you want the push terminals, all right?
Ralph, I got it right here.
There you
go. I got the screwdriver right
one.
here. There it is.
There you go.
I knew I had one. That's why I walked out of the room, because I knew I had a screwdriver sitting right outside. I'm pretty sure that's out of the EWC board.
Wait. Look, I didn't even have to get up.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, there you go.
The EWC is wore off of it, too. So
yeah, mine's gone, too. This was from a board from a few years ago.
But you know it's a screwdriver because you see the little blue tip.
Look at a couple of EWC suck-ups. Look at us with our screwdriver.
There you go.
No, guys, I love you guys, man. What makes me happy is that you're having fun, you're putting in the stuff, and it works, and it doesn't create headaches. I hate headaches. I hate callbacks. I hate that stuff. That's me crazy.
Well, for little guys like me and Zack, it really does mean a lot. For the bigger companies, 10 trucks, 20 trucks, whatever, callbacks are a big deal for them, but not as big deal because they're guys that, their guys don't care. They're hourly employees and they're, okay, I just got to go fix this or whatever. But me and Zach, we care because it gets in the way of other calls.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I tell you what, I've zoned, for a long time. And I always have customers, I zone like their bonus room, and then they're calling me back 6 months later. Hey, man, come zone this other place that I own. Hey, man, come zone this other place. And all of a sudden we're zoning and zoning and zoning. And I know one guy done like 4 or 5 things. Everything he touches now, it's like, will you come zone this like the last one?
Go to a neighborhood that has 2-story homes and 1 unit. Give the people the first job. Tell them to write you a letter, give you a copy of their bills. Then you do a direct mail piece to everybody else in that neighborhood. All the ductwork's the same. All the houses, maybe 3 models.
Yeah.
You can get a crew, send them over there, and I call it retrofit new construction. Send out a mailer, give them an option of a 2, 3, or 4 zone system. And guys, I'm telling you, I got a lot of guys doing that, and they're making money hand over fist because they know how it's going.
Oh, yeah. Once you get one done, it's easy. I have one neighborhood that I take care of, and they have this one certain house. And it's got a bedroom. It's got 2 bedrooms and a front corner, and a bathroom. And there's no way the thermostat's in the living area, and you cannot control that front corner of the house for nothing. Guys have went over there and tried to upsize the duct to that area, and I'm like, it doesn't do you any good. You could put 5 tons of air into that room. When that thermostat shuts off, it's going to shut that system off. You might as well call your neighbor and say, hey, can you turn your thermostat on? Because I need cooling in these 2 rooms. And what I did is I did a 2-stage system, and I did zoning, and did that in its own zone. And the lady she couldn't believe the difference. But it's in a retirement community, and unfortunately, in that community, it's just just the man and the woman. They never use those areas. So they're just like,
well, that's just as good. That's just as good. Why you can divert those BTUs back across the coil, increasing the efficiency and delivering them to the areas that you need it.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the thing that gets me. People say elderly people or whatever the case may be. Gosh, guys, to me, every single person out there is paying for zoning, whether they have it in your house or not. I mean, if you just look at what you can do with your bills, and I mean, at the minimum, every night you go to bed, he can cool your bedroom, cut the rest of the house off or back.
Yeah,
that's at the minimum.
Trey's favorite thing is when he starts the class, he always says, you walk in the house and you ask the people where they want the thermostats.
Right. What do you do? And they go, thermostats only get 1. No, where would you like them? We can put them in a different area. See, guys, to me, you go to market like that, you differentiate yourself from every other ABC heating and cooling company out there, and people listen. Because we're an established old-time industry. Everybody's used to us,
Yeah, because they have to have us.
Call the guy, he comes out. But I mean, now we've got mini splits, we've got inverter compressors, which a lot of these guys don't understand. But they do understand light switches. They do understand water faucets. They understand that more of them is better than one of them. So I mean, keep it simple. And it's you're looking at what the cost of my stuff is $600 to $800, 2 to 3 zone system. And that's, like I said, and look at what you're giving them. Yeah. And I mean, it's a little bit of installation, sure, but I mean, it's just pretty simple.
Hey, I'm all for it. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the other people who are listening.
Yeah, I know he's preaching to the choir, talking to us there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys out there.
You told me this is a podcast. We're getting out to all these other people.
Well, there's a lot of guys out there who don't know their foot from their elbow when it comes to zoning, so they need to get a little bit of knowledge on it, and definitely need to know EWC's out there and available and what they do.
Right. Well, it's, when I worked for Honeywell, and I mean, that was a pretty big deal, but they wouldn't do advertising. Why somebody doesn't do an ad on zoning and let the public know it's available, which is our number one goal, which most contractors don't even let people know it's available. I talk to people all the time. They've never even heard of it.
Exactly.
So if contractors just let them know it's available, I think they'd be shocked at how many people would want it rather than, and what's the worst that can happen? No, I'm not interested. Okay. let me replace your outdoor unit. I mean, it's the same thing you're doing anyway.
Right.
Just let them know the stuff is available, and I think you'll be surprised at how many people would take it. Because, like I say, it's like, would you want one light switch in your house? Would you want one water faucet in your house? The answer to both questions would be no. Why do you have one thermostat? Well, that's what I get. Oh, no, that's not what you have to have. So anyway, that's my soapbox.
Well, that's perfect timing right there, isn't it?
That's why I had you on here. You know, that's why I asked you to come on here, because, you know, you have a passion for what you're doing, and that's what we're looking for.
I love it, man. I mean, I just wish everybody could experience the pleasure of it, because you tell me. You put in a unit, one thermostat in the hallway. You put in another house, multiple thermostats in different areas, and the conversation of the master bedroom, entertaining areas, cutting areas, different. Is there any comparison?
No, because that the days of the thermostat. See, back before, air conditioning was a luxury, and
true.
And so people just expected one thermostat. The house I live in had a thermostat in the hallway.
Right.
One of the first things I did when I moved in here was move the thermostat from the hallway to the living area, because I know that that's where I'm at. And then I did zoning.
Further away from your bedrooms. I mean, you know, that there's a trade-off there.
Right. But I did zoning, though, and I put a thermostat.
You have no worries.
So,
you got no worries.
But I moved it from the hallway to the living room and then put one in the bedroom. So there you go. But it really changed the dynamics of the house.
Oh, yeah. And comfort, people don't realize how important comfort is, but I can tell you one thing. They definitely know when they're not comfortable.
Well, yeah.
And when they're not comfortable, they're not happy.
Yeah, so, and then the one thing they do say is, well, it's been working fine, but if I can make it better for you, then would you be,
There you go. There you go. And I mean, a lot of people are afraid of new things and stuff like that. But like I say, the common sense of zoning is what I think helps sell it so easily.
Right.
Because it's not rocket science. Don't talk about the bypass. Don't talk about any dampers. Just talk about you're going to have thermostats in different areas like light switches.
Mm-hmm.
You can do them at different times. And they understand that, and that makes perfect sense to them.
Well, what I've learned over the years is do not promise anything. You know?
True.
Because if you promise it, they're going to hold you to it. But if you don't,
no question.
If you don't promise it and you have too much airflow in one room, well, that's okay. We can fix it. You know what I mean? And you figure out a way to fix it.
Exactly.
So just don't promise them.
You got something to fix.
There you go.
Rather than, okay, I got to increase the equivalent foot of this one run because it's only 5 feet from my main plenum, and it sounds like a freight train. Now, how do I fix that?
And then that
balance and damper in it and all that stuff.
Right. Then that turns into experience. So the next time you won't have to fix it.
I hear this. Ralph has promised somebody something back in the day, and it really bit him in the ass.
No. I do not promise anybody anything.
It sounds like you'd be saying not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
I've watched too many guys promise people stuff. Too many salesmen along the way.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ralph. We run about an hour here, so we need to wrap it up. It really got away. That's kind of had a good time.
I'll do this whenever y'all want it, man.
Yeah, we're going to do it again. We'll give it a couple months. We'll have you back. We'll have some new material, and you can be passionate about that too.
Yeah, hopefully.
Man, this is fun. I was like, I've done radio and stuff before, but this is kind of neat looking, especially looking at you, Ralph, sitting, lounging back in your chair.
I'm just lounging here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm like, all right, I can do this. This is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ralph sets the standard for relaxing
you
here.
You're all professional there with your backdrop on there. I mean,
don't worry. I can take it down, and we can take the professionalism right out of this real fast.
I don't know if you're in a studio or you can have the letters right behind you there. You
know what? Yeah, I'm in the studio. Let's go with that.
Pull the curtain a little bit.
You want the truth to come out here?
No. Don't ruin the ambiance, man. It looks like a high-dollar studio you're in right there. That's what I'm talking. With the headphones and everything, man.
You should see his mic. It's $120-something mic.
$120-something. Hey, I'll hold it up to the screen if it doesn't make too much noise. There we go. There we see it.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
My thing is to appear professional. If you can't be professional, I just want to appear that way.
There you go.
That's kind of like you can't play golf good, at least look good playing golf, right?
That's exactly. I can hold a club with the best of them. I can wear those hats.
But yeah,
and
we
those awful
enjoyed it.
socks.
I know I enjoyed it, Trey. I was really looking forward to this interview because I know how passionate you are about zoning. And I've been trying to tell Zack for many years, about EWC, and he's done some. And then anytime the guys ask, what's zoning? And I always say EWC. And of course, there's 10 guys that say Honeywell. So that's one reason I was glad that you were on.
We'll pick them off one at a time.
Well, buddy, let me tell you. Tell them to call me. I don't know. And it's not that I don't have any problem with Honeywell.
Right.
It's just I just need a product instead of people saying zoning doesn't work. If you buy a condenser and there's a line set charge for 25 foot, put it on a 50-foot line set. What happens?
Doesn't work right.
It ain't gonna work right. If it isn't installed right, it ain't gonna work right. That's my problem. Right. The thing that really aggravated me, Acker came out with manual ZR 3 years ago. Honeywell redesigned their entire product line a year and a half ago. Not one piece of their stuff complies.
What have been telling y'all?
That aggravates the living daylights out of me because their timing sequence, their bypass, everything. They just said, I guess we've been doing it this way. It works. We're not doing anything different.
That's because the guys don't know there's something different.
What frustrated me. I mean, well, no. That's the thing, though. The Honeywell knew.
I'm talking about the installers. If the installers knew that there was a better product, then they'd be installed.
Half the installers didn't even know about the manual ZR either.
Right.
Now they do. At least 300 or 400 of them.
Well, golly day, man. Hey, this was too neat. And thank y'all so much, man. This was a lot of fun.
Well, I knew if I bugged you enough, you'd finally do it.
Let's do it again next month. We don't have to wait 3 or 4 months, do we?
No, we don't. We don't actually. We can do it next month. That's fine.
Heck yeah, we could do a retrofit section or a new construction section or a inverter compressor section or.
Well, there you go, guys. Look, you guys, you're listening to the podcast. If you want to know any more about zoning, leave a comment on the YouTube channel, and we will get Trey to answer as many questions as possible.
There you go.
And he's the man to do it.
Sounds simple enough. Put them to task. If you guys want to know something, ask the question. You've been listening to the Working Joe's podcast with me, Zack, and my co-host, Ralph Wolf. We encourage you to go over to the YouTube channel, Working Joe's Roundtable, find the latest podcast, and give us a comment. Tell us what you like or dislike about it. Also, the Working Joe's podcast is looking for sponsors, so if you know anybody that would be interested, or you're the interested party, feel free to contact me at Zachary Cioda, all one word, ZACHARYPSIODA @gmail.com. We'd love to have you aboard.